Dubs fans, how we doing? Golden State Warriors fans, Dub Nation, welcome back and welcome to C-Train Station. Hey, I'm C-Train, this is C-Train Station. Hey, Dubs fans, we got to do this, right? We got to do this. So free agency has started. We're going to talk about that just a little bit right now, but this is actually your 2025 NBA draft review for the Warriors. It's going to be your draft initial thoughts and initial grade. Okay, that's what it's going to be. But first, let's talk real quick. Just recent news, hot off the press, y'all. Kevon Looney, farewell, fair to thee, or whatever they call it. Kevon Looney has signed a 2-year, $16 million contract with the New Orleans Pelicans. Yes, Kevon Looney is a Golden State Warrior no more. And oh my gosh, where do we go with that? Thank you, Kevon Looney. He has, in my opinion, this is such a loss for the Golden State Warriors culture that I can't quantify it right now. So yes, so not only did the Warriors lose a champion who's been with the team, I believe, for 10 years, only known one team who has the cohesion with Draymond and with Steph that can't be taught, right? He's got like 10 years of muscle memory with those guys. He's gone now. The locker room leadership, it's gone. The conscience of the team, almost. He was sort of like the conscience of the Golden State Warriors, right? He's a Pelican now. He's a Pelican. Rumors were that Al Horford, that the Warriors retort, that the response was that they were gonna sign Al Horford imminently, essentially. That is now off. Yes, that's now off. Now reports are that Al Horford is sort of going to sit back and assess the situation before going forward. And that just kills me. I feel the loss, and especially because the Warriors haven't done anything in free agency, I feel this Kevon Looney loss, and it's deep. And I actually think that it affects the team in preparation, in terms of morale and culture, a lot more than we think. And also, I'm gonna stop at this, okay? But if it were between Kevon Looney and GP2 coming back, I pick Looney every single time. And I think I said in past videos, I wanted Looney to return on the minimum. Not so much GP2, his availability isn't there. But gosh, that is a killer. Also, some things of note. I talked about Brook Lopez in the last videos being a Warriors target. He has gone to the LA Clippers, okay? I talked about Cam Johnson was like a primary Warriors target for the last year or so. Just look it up, right? He's gone. He has now been traded to the Denver Nuggets, who also got Bruce Brown. Now, we were talking about the Warriors being able to use their trade exception, up to $8.7 million attached draft capital for a player. They could have done it for a player, hypothetically, I believe, for a player like Clint Capella, but he's gone. He has now signed with the Houston Rockets. So now the Houston Rockets, who already beat up the Warriors, they didn't beat, but they beat up the Warriors in the playoffs, have simply re-signed Steven Adams and also signed Clint Capella, who I guess there's some report with he and KD as well. So so my long story short is like that Warriors fans, of course, we need to be patient. We haven't even seen, the Warriors haven't made a move yet. They haven't made a single move in free agency, so we need to see what they're doing. But real quick, just talking about it, the Western Conference has gotten crazier, more competitive than I thought it was going to be. So I was preaching like patience. The Warriors need to make the right moves, and patience. Well, the Warriors have, I guess, been patient, right? And a lot of the moves that I deem to have sort of been the right move or great moves, Brook Lopez, gone now. That's tough. It's tough to take, and Warriors fans, don't worry yet. Trust me on this. I'll tell you when to worry, and it will be authentic and realistic, but like, don't panic for this offseason yet necessarily. Let's talk about the draft, though. That's why we're here. That's the main reason why we're here. This was going to be like a huge extravaganza, but the beginning of it, the free agency was just really a dud, honestly, as we all have seen, right? So we now full focus towards draft review. And the Warriors didn't trade up. In a 2-round draft in the NBA, the Warriors traded down. Yes, they traded down from, I believe, the 41st pick to the 52nd pick and eventually picked up the 56th pick. So they traded their 41st for the 52nd and 56th eventually. And they drafted forward Alex Toohey from Australia. I forget the exact team that he played for in Australia, but he's from the Australian League, the NBL, I believe it's called. And guard Will Richard, who is a guard. So first of all, here, Alex Toohey, their first draft pick, is like a 6'9" in shoes, about 222 pounds. He's got a 6'11" wingspan, and he's a forward. He's a versatile forward. He'll be able to play, I'd say, the 3-4 and a little bit of 5 for the Warriors. They next picked up Will Richard, who is he's a 3-and-D 2-guard/guard, I would say, who was a senior. He came out of Florida, so he's a national championship pedigree. He comes from the national championship winning backcourt. It was Clayton and Will Richard, and the Warriors got him, picked him up with the 56th overall pick. What are my initial reaction? My initial reaction, honestly, is this, Warriors fans, Dubnation. My initial reaction is that you do not, unless you have something really, really cooking on the trade wires, right? You do not trade down in a 2-round NBA draft. If this were the NFL draft, sure, you could trade down. No, you don't trade down in the NBA draft. And I think that the Warriors were looking to pick up an extra second-round contract because it looks good on paper to them with their salary cap and whatnot. But we'll get back to that. Okay, we'll get back to that. They traded down, and here's just here's the thing. You generally don't want to trade down in the second round, even if it's for a surplus of picks, because the NBA draft has fewer players who are really can make it in the league, especially in the second round. We get those second round finds. Jokic is from the second round, right? So of course there is value. There's tons of value, but generally it's limited. The consistent value overall from a late second round draft pick is absolutely limited. Have the Warriors found some fine? Absolutely. The Warriors got Quentin Post, right? So the Warriors got Trace Jackson Davis. However, I'm not the biggest Trace Jackson Davis fan, honestly. I believe that the things that he brings the Warriors, so many players can bring. I do not believe that the things that Trace Jackson Davis brings to the Warriors, the traits are unique in any way, shape, or form. Quentin Post, yes, he's a 7-footer who's a great shooter. There, boom, that's it. Can't find it for TJD. So you don't. My initial reaction is I'm hesitant to see the Warriors trade down. And here's just an example. Last video, we talked about some prospects, and I talked about the Warriors. Maybe they were going to trade up. There was chatter of the Warriors wanting to trade up for Stanford forward/center Maxime Raynaud, okay? He fell. He fell to the 42nd pick. And there are draft outlets out there, many, who had Max Raynaud as a top 25 pick. Now, you have to follow me real quick here. Follow me. A top 25 pick fell to 41, okay? That's amazing value. He is a versatile 7-footer who the Warriors don't have. So the Warriors have a sweet shooting 7-footer in Quentin Post. They don't have their versatile 7-footer. They don't have access to that. They don't have that JaVale McGee, right? Max Raynaud isn't like JaVale McGee or anything like that, but he's versatile. He's a versatile big. They had access to him. He was a top 25 pick who slid, okay? So to me, Max Raynaud, that's like maximum value, as we say, max. You get the best value drafting that player who slipped. In my opinion, and I've checked this with draft outlets, there are many draft outlets, many, that had Will Richard undrafted. He was not drafted. Like, so there are lots of outlets. I believe NBADraft.net and also The Ringer, their NBA draft, they didn't have Will Richard being drafted. So like, it was more likely than not that if the Warriors didn't draft him, maybe somebody picks him up in the last 3 picks, or more likely than not, he's an undrafted free agent. So I believe that the Warriors missed out on top 25 value. And also, I do not believe that Will Richard would have been drafted by other teams. You could tell me that, I still don't believe it. I won't even believe the rumor, like, honestly. So I believe that essentially the Warriors drafted 2 guys at the very end of the draft who more likely than not, one of them would have been available for free as a free agent, as an undrafted free agent. It's also possible that both players, because think of it, Toohey was drafted 52nd. There's only 59 overall picks, right? It's very possible that Toohey also could have been an undrafted free agent. So it's possible, it is within the realm of possibility to think that the 2 players the Warriors drafted in the 50s could have slipped to undrafted free agency. That's not good value. That's bad value. So as I tie a bow on this, actually, we haven't even, let me describe the players a little bit. Like, first I talked about my initial reaction is that, yes, it's bad value, right? Even if the Warriors wanted to pick up that extra second round contract because it's good on the salary, I don't like that. I would have rather them just signed an undrafted free agent, had to make the roster or go the 2-way route. I don't like that. The Warriors need more talent, and they dropped in the draft and denied themselves a very good talent. There's another talent, Kobe Brea, and he's pretty good as well, a shooter. So the Warriors passed up on both those guys. But Alex Toohey, what did the Warriors get in Alex Toohey? He's a versatile big. He projects as a decent to good defender, so a plus defender and connector. Number one thing, I like that Toohey is a smart player. He like, I saw like a little mini documentary on it. He's coachable. He seems like he's been well coached. He has already played professional basketball. He has played, I believe, for 2 years now. He's played professional basketball. He was like part of a special program in Australia for like young basketball players. I believe he entered that at the age of 14. And they've given him really good coaching. He's a great connector. He plays well on the national level for the Australian national team, which is really big as well, I think. But it's his plus defense and size that could save him in this instance. The fact that he is in shoes of just about 6'9", he's relatively strong. He's got room for improvement there, but he's got a 6'11" wingspan. He can rebound decent he can rebound well, decent to well. You hear how I say decent, good, and well a lot with Alex Toohey. I don't think that that's a diss in this instance. I think that decent and well can also be called capable. So he is a capable defender. He is a capable rebounder, right? So when you look at highlights of him, it's really, he flashes, like in some of his, like he's got a lot of step through moves like Franz Wagner, and he flashes that, like he looks like a little bit shades of Franz Wagner. But I have another guy. I have another, a flash from the past, right? A blast from the past as well. Austin Croshere. Alex Toohey reminds me of former Indiana Pacer Austin Croshere, okay? And that is, if you go and look at Austin Croshere, I think he averaged like 6-7 points, 4 boards, 2 assists. That's what I think, that's kind of what I think Toohey's upside is like a 7 to 10 point, 4 rebound, and a few assists, but with plus defense, which is really not plus defense, just plus defense, honestly. And I'll tell you what, he has. I was like, should I say this or should I not say it? Should I say this or should I say it? I was thinking about this, like just thinking about like the evaluation of Alex Toohey. I have this to say: if he's listening, brother, he needs to, within all of the realms of sports science, within any type of legality, what he needs to do is focus on his body and add to his quickness, strength, and speed and explosiveness. He needs to work on his body. He needs to be consistently working out, and he needs to take any supplement that's legal, that is okay for him. He needs to take all of that stuff, okay? Because like he is a minus athlete, and that is going to work against him. Yes, Alex Toohey is a minus athlete, and you see players who are not super athletic make it in the NBA, right? Joe Ingles is sort of like that comparison, right? And while people would say like Jokic isn't athletic, that's like insane in my opinion. Nikola Jokic is like 7 feet tall, 285 pounds, and can play like 46 minutes a night at a foot. He's got insane stamina and endurance for a big guy. Like absolutely, he's indefatigable. So anyways, long story short is that there is a route for positivity there's a route to stick. There's a route to stick in the NBA if you're Alex Toohey. That's through defense, rebounding, and connecting. He's going to have to work on his outside shot. He's not a great shooter, right? I think he's like 30% from 3-point. He's going to need to be respectable to be able to knock down at least a few. And I actually believe that he'll be able to do that. He seems like a good kid and a hard worker, honestly, to be frank. And I really like that. And I think that the Warriors need that and that mentality, which is why I'm willing to sort of to sit back and reserve all judgment on this pick. So, also, Toohey and Richard are both players, and especially Alex Toohey, where I think that you're going to need to watch his plus minus, because I don't know if he's going to show that much. I don't think he's a super stat sheet stuffer. I think he's like going to be a very minimal stat sheet stuffer in a lot of realms, right? In a lot of categories. But I don't think that Alex Toohey is necessarily going to wow you in the points or anything like that. And so like we got to look at his plus minus. Are the Warriors better overall as a squad with him out there? And the Warriors are going to need to assess that, and they're going to need to do that relatively quickly. And I think that they're going to do it through the G League. They're going to like see how his productivity, how the team produces through the G League. So it'll be something to watch for sure. So definitely, the good news about that pick is that this is a defensive forward pick, and I will never, ever go against that. I love defensive players. Moving on, Will Richard. Will Richard is a winner, 3-and-D guard who has some range. The Warriors are looking for a Melton GP2-like role and production, and I could see Richard giving him that, but he'll really have to prove himself. He'll have to make his mark on defense. He averaged about 1.7 steals a game. He's going to have to show that point of attack defense that the Warriors they need so bad. They're just really wanting that. And if you want to know here's another thing. Alex Toohey, the player I was just talking about, their first draft pick, the Warriors' first one, he's a good defender, but his point of attack defense is not going to be good in my opinion, because he's slow. Like he's laterally not very quick as well. And just touching back on Toohey, I wanted to give you this measurement. For example, Toohey has a 26-inch vertical leap. It's not good. It's not good. So I love the potential of Will Richard and the potential of his role on the Warriors, but that doesn't mean he's going to fulfill that potential. And the scary thing is that I think that the Warriors are going to have to rely on Toohey and on Richard sooner rather than later, and that's asking so much out of a late second-round draft pick. You would love to see both of these players go through the G League, have success there, just like Quinton Post did, and then no pressure at all. I actually think that Will Richard may be depended on because the Warriors don't have a point of attack defender really right now. They are really wanting on the defensive end. Warriors are rumored for Herbert Jones and whatnot, but they just haven't done anything. So it's tough. Real quick though, at 6'4" with a decently long wingspan, Will Richard, in his play, Will Richard, by the way, it's going to be forever whether it's Will Richard or Will Richard. I'm going to have to get that totally down. Unprofessional of me, honestly. But he shows shades of DeJounte Murray, which is really, he plays for the Pelicans. That's good. A poor man's DeJounte Murray is like really good. So Will Richard can do a little bit of everything out there as a 6'4" guard. He plays bigger than he is, so he'll be able to guard 1, 2, and a little bit of 3 in Steve Kerr's defense if he can. Yeah, he's about 6'4", so he'll be asked to do that. But here's the thing. So let's get on to it. What's my initial draft grade? Because there's only so much that we can talk about these guys, honestly, right? And I'm going to cut it off. I mean, you talk for hours and just speculate, but it's all speculation. I've shown you some things to watch. Look at both of their plus minuses. We're going to have to see how Will Richard's range is, and also how Toohey's range and defense adds up at the next level. So my initial draft grade is a C+. I actually initially had it a B- right before I did this. C+. I cannot endorse a draft where the Warriors drafted 2 players, one of which was scheduled to go undrafted, and the other one, it was a possibility. And so I can't endorse that. It doesn't, those players are going to have to do really well. But C+ is still a decent grade, right? It's above average. And here's the thing. So my initial draft grade is a C+. I really like the defensive first mindset of Toohey and Richard. I love that they're defensive first players. That is the saving grace over everything. Is it starts on defense, they're defensive first players. But we'll have to wait and see how the offseason shakes out for that final grade. And of course, for even the final initial grade. And this is an example. If the Warriors are able to trade 2 for 1 for a quality player, like for example, if the Warriors are able to trade Moses Moody, Trace Jackson Davis, and first-round draft picks for Herbert Jones, this draft grade goes, and if Toohey and Richard can at least be neutral in their minutes, so not net negative, this grade surges an entire grade immediately. Goes from C+ to B+. All the Warriors have to do is a 2 for 1 trade where they trade for actual value, okay? And that's done and done. They trade, right, for Herbert Jones. This jumps a grade because it denotes that these guys were drafted under the precipice that the Dubs were going to do a value trade outside of the draft. That's totally fine. But not doing the value trade in the draft and also not doing the value trade outside, I don't love it. I don't love it at all. So it jumps a grade. But here's the thing. Watch this, because the Warriors already lost Kayvon Looney. If the Warriors bring back GP2, only to play him over Will Richard, and Toohey doesn't show well, you're possibly downgrading this draft grade an entire letter plus. So listen, if the Warriors bring back GP2 and now he's sort of getting those Will Richard minutes and it's sort of stunting Will, and it's like, well, heck, what is he here for? If he's here to replace GP2 and Melton and he's not doing that because GP2's here, then what is he doing? He's sitting on the bench most likely. You're playing the I don't like that value. It drops to a D. It drops to a D because the Warriors didn't get value. They didn't get much of if anything, right? They got a GP2 duplicate when they already have GP2, and a G Santos duplicate when they already have G Santos. So it's very difficult. It's difficult to bump up this grades. Of course, you can never have enough quality role players. Those guys aren't quality role players yet, though. G Santos I like him. He's okay, fine. He's a quality role player, but he's not on a contending team. He's not like Alex Caruso right now, right? Alex Caruso ain't coming out of that tunnel for the Warriors. So it's tough. I think that I think that right now, the way that I'm talking, that I've sort of been going, you can tell my a little bit frustration with the Warriors right now. It's only because of this. The rest of the Western Conference has gotten so much better. Memphis, the Rockets, the Nuggets, teams who are actually good and they're getting better. On top of Oklahoma City, who is looking to go up. As I said though, like the Warriors, I wasn't looking for the Warriors to trade Kuminga for some bigs. I wasn't looking for that. I was looking for the Warriors to add quality veteran role players. So far, they have lost quality veteran role players. That's a really bad sign. We wanted Horford or Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is gone now, and it looks like Horford is not going to may not go to the Warriors either. So it's like the Warriors are most definitely striking out. But it's just the dust hasn't settled. You have to wait until the dust settles. I will not. That's why this is just an initial grade of C+. And my free agency, we haven't even done that yet, baby. We haven't even gotten to the free agency. This is just like the beginning was just a primer, the beginning of this video. So, because the Warriors haven't done anything. So, initial grade, C+. In the comments, and I'm also going to this is going to be my first poll. What is your grade? Initial grade for this Warriors draft. Your initial grade for this Warriors draft. Write that in the comments. And also, please, I'm going to have a poll. And oh my gosh, if you can participate that'd be really cool. It's going to be one of my first posts. I'm going to really try to get into that. Let's get some conversations going on C-Train Station. Let's get some really positive interactions. I love the comments. I love interacting. So it's going to be I think it's going to be an interesting free agency. It already has been for the Warriors. Interesting draft. We're going to know a lot more about these rookies come California Classic and come Summer League in the next 2 weeks. So we have a lot to talk about here, a lot of Warrior stuff at C-Train Station. And I am just delighted that you are here for the ride. So of course, for your Warriors content, like, subscribe, follow, comment, do all the good stuff. And I'll see you next time at C-Train Station. Have a great one.